All right, I'm just looking at some games. Then share screen. All right, so I got that one. Um. Why does it don't need to go?
Yeah.
Hmm. This one might be good. Chef. Okay, so that one might be good. Look at that. Let's see if we can find one more. All right, well, look at that. All right. Um, it's about to ask a stupid question. Is everyone here? Kind of a dumb question. Raise your hand if you're not here.
I'm not here.
Okay, so starting out, which one do you guys want to look at first? We'll say number 1, number 2, or number 3.
Number 2 looks interesting to me because of how huge the top and left has become.
Okay.
Same. Same.
All right. Starting with this one. Okay, so who here knows my rule for how to deal with this?
Definitely not me.
Oh, huh.
My personal rule for dealing with this is why did it happen in the first place, but it's probably not the right answer.
So, the hint for this is when the position is fully surrounded. In other words, there's no escape route. None,
Oh.
right?
Oh, you're talking about the second line move, right?
Uh-huh. So
Okay.
you're at step 3 of the Clossi Approach attack, not step 2. So step 1 is take the base. Step 2 is surround. Well, if you realize there's nowhere to go, then you'll realize it's already surrounded. So all you have to do is start at step 3. Attack the ice face. And it's, you see how it's only one eye?
Mm-hmm.
So
so we're imagining ourselves as white right now?
yes, we are white, sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, as white, you should be able to kill this 3/3 invasion with 1. It's maybe not easy, but this 3/3 has to die. It's gonna die. It should die, and that's because there's no escape routes. Now, it's not to say it can't live, but to live with it, your attack and defense has to be like 4 or 5 levels above. Oh, so your living has to be 4 or 5 levels above their defense, with the exception of if you can use any Agi or forcing moves, which it doesn't look like you can on this board. There's some Agi like in this area, but not really. Okay, so I would say this 3/3 should die. Now, what White chose to do in the game was play a Joseki. This is pretty much the worst thing you can do. The reason is this is pretending we're in middle game. This is pretending that Black has an escape route. Black does not have an escape route. So we need to be a lot more aggressive than this. This is too normal. Way too normal. And so that way, in this case, Black just lives. But even here, boop, 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 boop. That's still dead. So black has to expand ice space. Well, then we get this, and then that, and then this, and then that. Like, okay, now it's alive. Okay, can we do anything else? Probably not. So can we go here? Boom, 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 boom. So I think this is the vital point. But then we do this, and it looks alive. So I think this is probably alive.
That
But
last variation you showed actually had a way of falsifying the F18I, so it could have become a running fight again.
this.
No, before that when you went G16 instead of H19.
Ah, yeah, you're right. Sorry, I just brain farted. Oh yeah, haha. See, exactly. The idea is to poke the eyes. What is the response here? See, this is why I shouldn't doubt myself. I should just read better. Yeah, you see how hard it is for black to live if you just start taking the eyes. If you're not worried about black running away, if you don't care about black running away, like who cares if he runs? You can kill it. So even this apparently can die. It's just you see this is a lot harder to kill than the original one. What if we just attack right here? Does that kind of make sense? That you're at step 3, reduce the eye space, rather than step 4 surround or step 2 surround. Does that concept make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of, but like it does seem like there's just a lot of empty room up there. So
Yes.
I'm-
So here's a good exercise if you wanna play it. I want you to like fill up the edge with black stones. Okay. This is a good thing to play with strong players. If you're playing in real life, you just skip. Boom, boom. I think it's you start here, there, there. Has anyone ever played this game?
No.
Yeah, I did.
So this is
Oh, it is
something.
the challenge to live in the middle.
Yeah. So if you're working on living in the center, then you take white. Okay. So white plays first, obviously. Pass. So white has to live with one living group. Black's job is to make sure white does not live at all.
Drooch and I played this once.
If you're struggling with killing things after there's no escape routes, this is a good exercise. So poke the eyes. And then white has to get as creative as he can. Yeah, it's really hard to live as white. But if your shape is better than their attacking, if your defense is better than their attacking, it's pretty interesting. So obviously you have to play this with someone stronger than you. If both players are equal in attack and defense, white's going to die. Or white should. The trick is white has to make shape and then use forcing moves and shape to make 2 eyes. But it's so hard. Like you'd probably have to be like 4 or 5 levels above the other player to do it. So it's quite a difficult challenge, but it's possible. Like if there's a rank gap, it's possible. So it's a really good exercise for learning how to kill things. So if you like find a buddy on Discord or whatever and just play this game, it's a good exercise. At Go Club, I did it many times at Go Club and with teachers and stuff too. But this is how you would work on killing things that are already surrounded. But at the end of the game, if they invade, after there's nothing else, they should die, because if they don't, then that's not territory. And if you defend it, then you lose Sente, and you lose a move. It's passing. It's actually worse than passing because it's -1 point. So you have to get your attacking to the point where it can kill anything in there. With the exception of if they have a lot of forcing moves or Aji, that creates multiple moves in a row or creates some BIs sometime. And you got to be very cautious about those. So when there's a lot of Aji, it requires a lot more reading. But if there's no Aji, it should be pretty easy to kill most of the time. Like, in here, I'm confident that unless my opponent is like probably like 7 Don plus, I can kill anything that's placed inside of there. And that's because I've played that minigame, I've dealt with this a lot. But at this point, it should die. The reason is, it's not like there's no gap. It's like, maybe if that stone wasn't there, even then, that'd be hard to live. Like that, I could probably live. But with an extension and the quarters got a point, there's 2 extensions, there's not that much Aji, probably you could kill stuff in there. The trick is you just do step 3 first, which is take the ice base, and watch the forcing moves and watch the shape and the tiger's mouth and stuff. But pretty much, if you step 3, take the ice base, and then if you guys watch the Clossi Approach video I recorded today, I accidentally let him live, but staying strong, watching the forcing moves, and then just poke the tiger's mouths, and attack it from the second line. It's possible to kill. Does that make sense?
I'm still not
Yes.
sure I fully believe that it should die, but also
Okay.
it's because I haven't played that game for myself and I haven't proven it.
All
But
right.
I will
want
trust
you
your judgment.
to. How do I? Can I set players? Fort game.
If you fort game, you can
Yeah.
send me a challenge. Yeah, Diane Panna.
Yep. Game settings. My color is going to be white. All right. Live challenge. Okay. I want you to try to live.
Game started.
Good
Okay.
luck. Have fun. Try to live. All right.
All right, so I'll go with exactly what the thing did.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so first I'm going to take away the corner because that's 2 edges is easier than 1. All right, now I'm going to attack it from the second line.
Okay, so I can see why it's getting difficult now.
Haha.
Did I make a mistake? I think I made a mistake. I should have played the shoulder hit, not this one. Oh, it's still fine. It's still fine. I'll just do this. Even if I made a mistake, it's still fine. And then just block the forcing moves. Okay. And now the only thing I have to worry about is the forcing moves over here. Yeah, because there's only ever 1 eye, and getting 1 eye is easy, but getting the second eye is hard. So I just gotta watch the combination over here, and I should be fine. All right. How do I want to do this? Probably I can just poke right here, or right here. Which one has better follow-ups? So this one has less room to run, so it should be easy to read. So at this point, I can apply reading. So here, tiger's mouth. Let's say a Nobi. Table shape, that's an eye. Okay, so here, tiger's mouth, Hane. Here, connect. Atari, there, connect, jump. So there's nothing up there. Table shape, push there, poke there, or maybe there, here, forcing moves there, yeah. What about here, 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 Atari there, Atari there, Atari, Atari. There's nothing there, I think. I'm gonna go with this one. I think this one's... I'm worried about these forcing moves though. If I Hane in you table, push, push, peep, then you might have some forcing moves there. So I gotta watch the forcing moves. Like I said, maybe not easy, but very killable. It's supposed to die. Okay. Take the tiger's mouth. Okay, obviously, yeah, take the eye. Yeah, I shouldn't have let you even have one eye. This is scaring me. But really good little exercise. Oh, no, you have to Atari this side because that's the only future you have. But it's okay. It's okay. Because you have to connect now. Unless you have a forcing move right here you want to try.
No, I don't. I was just going to connect after that.
Yeah. And this is the shape point. Shape points are important. Okay, what's next? What's next? There's no Aji for an eye right there, so let's just go here. Tiger's mouth is shape points. Getting paranoid about my Aji up top. Getting really paranoid about that Aji. Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't have to block because it's dead. So I just no B and significantly less Aji. Yeah. Yeah. Stay strong. Don't worry about conventional moves at the end of the game.
Thinking.
Mm-hmm. Just take away your options. Is this anything? Black, white, 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 black. Maybe. Maybe. Not risking it. Not risking it for the biscuit. I think I could just Atari you, and you just get forcing moves over here. So there's just no point.
Oh my god.
The biscuit's not worth it. Don't risk it for the biscuit.
There, probably there. That's not good. This is very probably that. That's not a good movie there, so no.
Take the tiger's mouth. Don't even give a chance for an eye. I don't know. I'm trying to find anything for your shape.
Yeah, same. Although I will say, this is the type of game I love to play.
What, were you trying to survive in their stuff?
Yeah, I do this to myself all the time.
Yeah, this is like really difficult. I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe not the best of strategies.
Probably not, but I have a lot of fun.
I could pass, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work.
I'm gonna do this, and you have less shape than the bamboo. But I think even the bamboo is fine. Yeah, even the bamboo was fine, but this is even less shape. So the idea is conventional strategy says don't go for the kill. At this stage of the game, though, you pretty much have to go for the kill. And so you can use killing tactics, which is a little bit over aggressive. But you really need to like be aggressive, but also have really good shape. And then just poke out their eyes.
Oh no. Did he just cut out for anyone else?
Oh, my...
Oh, he's back.
Okay, good.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you have to be you have to be going for the kill in this scenario. And so you start poking out their eyes and you watch your shape and forcing moves, and of course killing anything is a lot of reading. But you should be able to kill it with enough you should be able to kill anything that does that. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Okay.
hear you now.
Now I can.
Noise
You
suppression.
did drop out for a minute there.
Yeah, noise suppression powered by Crisp. Let me can you like not noise suppress me in Discord?
Yes, you can.
How about there? Is that better?
It looks like Discord itself might actually be having issues. I see some of my servos it can't connect to.
Ah. Okay. Well, I'll just do my best with what I got. Okay, so you played, so I will play. Do you have any other plans that you want to try in here? Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Sorry. I was thinking about how I wanted to respond.
Careful with that thinking thing. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Plot twist, everyone can hear me, they're just pretending to ignore me.
Yes, I do have another plan that I would like to try.
All right, go for it.
It's not going to work, though. It's definitely not going to work.
Maybe against 9 Qs.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, awesome.
I give up.
You have won.
All right, thank you for the game. Does anyone have any questions about this concept? I didn't kill it perfectly, obviously, but do you understand the idea of attacking the eyes from the second line and then just poking it out?
Yes.
Okay, so the concept's there. Like it's going to be reading intensive. That's why you do go problems, of course. But the places you look are the second line, the tiger's mouths, the peeps. And then watch your weaknesses. Watch your Aji. That's the only way they can live is through your Aji. You have to watch your cutting points. You have to watch your forcing moves. Like you gotta watch that stuff. If you're not careful, and they have clever reading, they can make life. In some cases, but they're supposed to die. They are supposed to die at this late stage of the game. At this stage of the game, they're supposed to die. Unless the AI says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, no, shut up. It's still okay. It's supposed to die because it's 49.5. It's supposed to die. So even this is like the AI's cleverness. So you can see like that's a lot more clever than just the 3/3. But even that's supposed to die according to this, which is 49.5 points. So it's supposed to die. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. So no. What happened to my samples? So here, okay, 1 or 2. What do you want to look at next? 1?
Yeah. Because again, I'm putting myself in White's shoes and saying this is some dumb shit that I would absolutely do.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so
did. 'Cause I-
Okay, so funny enough, this actually isn't supposed to die. Oh, hey, Ragnar, this is your game.
yeah, I said this is literally some dumb shit that I did.
No offense, but
Okay, so I don't have it in the recording, but for the recording, Radner's white. Okay, so this one actually is very dangerous, but not impossible. Like, unlike the other one, this one may not necessarily die. Okay, but do we want to look at white or black?
I actually just remember what happens with this, and it's really weird.
Alright. So I'm assuming you guys want to look at black?
I'll take
Probably.
either color.
Okay, we can try to look at both. So first off, let's say, what is your responses?
As black, you mean?
Yes. So it's black. What is the responses? What's
Oh.
possible?
Well,
You could
I suppose
cap.
you could cap.
Yep, that's the most obvious.
You
You
might
could attach.
pick.
Pick, attach.
Uh,
L2 could be an option, too.
03.
3.
You could shoulder hit and
Diagonal,
just
shoulder
force them
hit.
out.
All right. So let's Clossi approach it first. Okay. Does he have a base?
No.
Not yet.
No, he can't even make a base. Can he make a 1 stone jumps 2 without touching anything?
No.
No.
No, so he doesn't have a base. So Clossi approach would say cap. So that's the first thing we're going to look at.
Oh, it's blacksmith. Sorry.
All right. So Clossi approach is white. Run away, can't do it. So we're single the GQ. So let's look at some forcing moves. Maybe here, here, and here. Attachments to try to make life. Seems pretty promising actually. That's pretty interesting. Okay. So that actually has a future. So here, white would look at forcing moves. So if we just play simple shape, that's what we'd end up with. That's the kind of double digit Q solution. So you have to apply single digit Q basics for life here, which is using forcing moves and attachments. Before exchanging this, though, I might just start here and see what happens. And see if I need that move or not, because that hurts the corner. So I might try that sequence. So that's one idea. The other is to kick. If we just play normal, let's say knight's move, because maximum pressure. Boop, boo-doo-doo, 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 boo-doo-doo. I hope I don't die. Interesting. Interesting, but it's got some weird
It
stuff.
lives.
Does it? No, I don't know. It's interesting. It looks a little bit harder for white, actually. And this is just me placing some stones on the board, right? So we have this idea, we have this idea. This one's actually
Like
probably
in
interesting.
position, if you get kicked, I think a jump would probably be better, wouldn't it? Just to get out faster, potentially give
Mhm.
up the M3 stone.
Stop Aki a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd almost want to
Ugh.
cut that. That 4 and 5 black.
Yeah. All right. So, correct answer. Basically, pro move. I have no idea. It's really a lot of reading here. So this one actually isn't that bad of an invasion. I would say for 4Q, it's probably possible. I'm not strong enough to tell you this is a bad move. I will just say that it's going to be hard to kill it. The follow-ups, though, are going to be very reading intensive. Okay? So, if you're double-digit Q, this it could very easily die. But a single-digit Q, especially at 4Q, using a lot of forcing moves, this could very well live. So let's just assume, like, if we just start reading here and we spend like a couple minutes reading, it's very difficult to try to kill this. So just reading it out from the first move, you're like, okay, I don't exactly know if this will die. So if we don't know, I always say you have to assume it'll live. Okay, so this isn't one of those situations where it has to die. So if we assume it'll live, what do we want from this? Okay, so how do we want to deal with this? So this invasion, probably will want to surround and get thickness, right? Or we could we could just push it out and chase. So the Clossi approach for attacking a weak stone at single digit Q is to think about what you want to do next. So is there any other weak groups? No, but there is a large Moyo over here. Okay, there's a large influence over there. So if we can somehow attack the A stone in a way that helps us deal with the B area, I would say that's a success. Now, of course, we can't just say, oh, I want to do that and let A live easily. We want to put the maximum pressure on A. And the problem with this one is jump. Maybe something like that leads to potential future. So this one might be a little passive. This one, I get a forcing move right here and then a jump. So it's not too much different than a kick, but maybe I get a little bit better shape. So I don't know about L2. My favorite...
Is it possible for white to get a 2-space jump in there instead of the 1? Or does that work? Or just...
That's what I just did, right?
Yeah, like if white did a 2-space jump, no, without the 2 stones, I meant.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stones, that seems pretty risky, though.
I actually like this because it's asking black a question. So this solution is possible. Do you want to take that away and let me have something else? Or do you want to play
That's
that
what I
solution
was
out?
thinking.
So this is like playing the last move first of a sequence. It's possible, yeah. I like it. So the ones that I like are going to be these 3. The attachment, I think this is more life and death centered. So the attachment says, okay, this is probably going to be what's going to happen. And then you say, if this dies, of course it's good for me, right? If it dies. But this is really, really a lot to read. But the attachment's probably the easiest to read, or maybe one of the easiest. Yeah, I think...
Are you recommending that for single-digit Q?
I'm recommending this for for 4Q plus, but single digit Q, no. I think these 3 are the easiest ones. This one I would read if I was a Don level. I'm also looking at the shoulder hit. This has this idea, but has that problem. Oh yeah, never mind. It's just bad. Okay. Sometimes the shoulder hit can work too. But there's a lot to read there. Like, that's a lot of stuff to read. So I would say 4Q plus, Dawn level, this is a very, very reading intensive move. In other words, Radnor, you probably shouldn't be playing it because it's too heavy on reading. This is way too like reading intensive. This is a really hard problem. But
To be fair, I didn't play it intent on living. I played it with
No,
the idea of
no,
I can
no,
either
no.
live here or I can try to get Aji to then do it. I want to take one or the other and do a black one.
I think if you had just done this one or this one, that is a lot easier to play. If you play this one, you have to have a plan. You cannot just give your opponent stones without knowing exactly what's going to happen. It's very dangerous and can very easily backfire. But let's say we're black and we're single digit Q, so we can read a little bit. So we want to say which one puts the most pressure on white. What about a diagonal? White lives, but we got a lot of influence. It's cool. Or maybe here, here, here. It's reasonable. I would say this one probably you have to go for the surround, not the kill. Until you can like read all of this out. Because like I said, I don't know what the best answer is. So going with the Clossi approach, it would just be surround and get thickness in Sente. But let's see. Black chose this, and then white chose a slide. Attach should be more of a future. This is too straightforward. No, we don't have time for that. So you just die at that point. Yeah, at this point you should just probably die. That one's interesting, but yeah, I don't think black was reading the cutting point. Yeah, that's why this move's necessary. Really? That's a cool move. What if I just go
White
here?
get in P2 and try and threaten to connect? Did that do anything?
P2? No, that would just hurt the corner more. Like you already have the issue.
Middle, and then he would barely survive in the corner. That's what
No,
was
I
thinking.
really like this. This is using the peep to white's advantage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so the AI says you should die. What if I go
What I
here?
expected when I played that move. Something along those lines.
2, 3. Oh, dang it. Something the AI would show me. Yeah. This is really reading intensive. I don't like this move for you. If you can get away with it, it's very powerful, but it's so dependent on good reading. But I do say my double-digit Q basics are if you're gonna invade, approach a fourth line stone. This is why it gives you so many follow-ups. This peep actually might be interesting. Trying to start with this peep, but maybe that's not good. Maybe I don't know. There's a lot of AG.
I was thinking about maybe crazy, but the attach at J4 for white.
That's not that bad. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I mean, it's very similar to this idea. I like it, but I hate it. This one's hard.
Oh, the M3 move?
No, the M3 move, the A stone.
Go teachers hate this one trick.
Yeah, go teachers hate this one trick. It's the video title right there. If you have the reading to back it up, I think it's possible to play this way. But I think you need to use forcing moves a little bit. Like, use more attachments and forcing moves. You definitely had the right idea with this peep right here. That was definitely the right idea. Do you still die? Oh, this is not playable. Are you alive? Well, that's curious. This is hard to read.
I do think that Elwyn kills me. I remember being surprised when you played it and then realizing it worked.
So if I go here, what's follow up? Ah, that's not a psyche. That hasn't been 4 though. What's the follow up? Here? I think you're alive. I think this move's the wrong move. I think it's this move. Uh-oh. That might still work. Yeah, okay, cool. So you lived. Could you have lived with this move instead, though? Maybe not. No, okay. I'm trying something. Okay. So you definitely outread your opponent here, but you're getting into some reading intensive stuff. Not impossible. Doesn't mean it's bad. Just maybe not what I would play. I like safer strategies, but I also tend to shy away from the reading heavy stuff, and that's one thing that I need to learn. But yeah, to play that, lots of Go problems. Lots of Go problems. But yeah, interesting invasion. Okay, so
The game gets even better from there, though. That was even the fun part of this game.
yeah, but that is the top of the day. So the Clossi approach would just be to like surround it with something simple. Reduce the eye space, let them live. Whatever. Get thickness in Sente. And use that thickness to play the game. So this would be the Clossi approach. Just surround in Sente.
How many points
Yeah.
is that white live group worth on the bottom, and how much to give up? Because it's not just the number of points. So how much is it worth to do that invasion?
So if you want to do that, we have to calculate. Let's just look at this result and count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So let's say 20. Oh, hold on. So I want to say this is like 30-ish for black with the influence. Wait, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16. I'd
So
say
would it have been more
36 and a
I guess
half
it's sort of
for
like
white. Maybe no, for about
I-
40 for white.
40 worth about 40 for white.
I would say white's ahead by 10 on the territory. Black has influence here, and then white has influence here, -3.
And then so that group though.
I think
the
white's ahead by
first
10.
group, well, that was worth what? At least 20 points, right?
Well, let's compare it to if we had just played some sort of reduction. Let's just exchange. Let's just exchange that. Okay. So now black has 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Say 44 for black. 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 13, 16, 18, 37 for white plus Comey's 43 and a half. What did I say black had? I forgot.
I wasn't sure. You said 44, but I wasn't sure that was that area or not.
Okay, so
I think it is.
so 40. So white is ahead Let me just recount. Okay, so white had 47 of territory, but this area is uncertain and that area is uncertain. So probably at least 10 right there, because that's a lot of thickness. So at least you should be able to at least get 10 from there. So I would say white has maybe 57. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Let's be generous, say 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44.
White's ahead by about 10, looks like, huh?
Yeah, but white controls more the center than black does. But black gets to be black's the one reducing now instead of white. I'd say white's ahead in both scenarios. With just the simplistic counting.
Okay.
This is tough. So like I said, I don't think your move's a bad move. I think it's just really reading intensive and life and death intensive. So to play it, if you want to play this way, you need a lot of go props. Also, I really don't like that you played this way without knowing the result, without having an idea of the result. I think it's very dangerous, and if you don't know the result, you can easily die. So imagine this is like one more stone, like right here, and then you do it. That's a completely different situation, and if you can't read the difference, will it look that different to you? Will you still do it? Like, on this board, it might have been fine, but what about in other games? Like, are you dying a lot? That might be why. It might be because you're not reading as accurately before you invade. But if you can read it, you can do it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
The funny thing about this game that I was saying, where it goes totally not what you'd expect, is that not only do you have that really life and death intensive part, but then by the end of the game, black ends up dying with a huge dragon on the white side
Yeah.
because of that cut.
Yeah, but that's just attack and defense.
It was a very weird game, which is why I submitted it, because I thought it was interesting.
Yeah. This is a cool invasion point. I'm gonna say this is beyond me. I'm gonna say this is beyond me. If your opponent does this, just surround and let him and take Sente, because the reading is too intensive for single digit Q or for Q level. But I'll just say I'm gonna just amateur my way out and say it's beyond me. So let's look at the last example. Motherfucker! If we have time. So black chose forcing moves to get deep enough, and then white capped, and then black ran left instead of right, and white surrounded. So this is something that can happen. This is 2Q, 3Q. And this is black using forcing moves, and white getting a little bit greedy with the attachment here. The forcing moves, it's really reading intensive. Cutting points are important, but so is reading. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Hold on. I want to read it. This looks really fun. Take Atari. Let me just take Atari. Connect Atari. There. Atari. There. Atari. There.
Three stones die, maybe, huh?
No, I think white's okay. Because if we take Atari there,
then there's the cut. There's the F15 cut, possibly, if he fills, right? So he would die.
F15. Well, here's what I'm reading. There's nowhere for black to go after here. Black has to go here, and then black's dead. So
can you undo? Go progress one stone. Yeah, from instead of G16.
Mm-hmm.
What if you play F15?
Self Atari.
Oh crap!
Yeah. So the other option I'm looking at is here, but then here. So it looks cool, but it's not. It's false cool. Yeah. Reading is important. This is why I always say that, like, cutting points are the most important thing. So do you see the kind of trouble that Black got into from a cutting point and how much reading you had to do from there? Like, this became a whole life and death scenario because Black didn't protect the cut. Now imagine you just played here and then threatened to get out and then made, like, just some forcing moves and then squeeze. You see how the eye space looks a lot easier to read? Compared to getting cut, and now what? So that's important. I'm trying to think of what I want you guys to take from this exactly, and, like, because I don't want to just tell you guys to read more, because that's not exactly the technically invasions are the most reading intensive strategy, which I'm sure you can clearly see. The invasion's the most reading intensive. But the things that I want you guys to take from this is at double-digit Q, just surrounding and reduce the eye space is good enough. Trying to live with invasions is do simple invasions. Don't do the complex invasions because it gets into reading that you can't handle. So just make eye space, approach fourth line, 3/3s, just the simple stuff. But single digit Q, you start getting into attachments and forcing moves. And that's where the intensive reading happens. There's no real shortcut to reading is the problem. Like, I can tell you where to start reading. Caps, shoulder hits, escape routes, cutting points, attachments. You know, those basic strategies. This is all fine and dandy for white. You also have this idea. But then there's that. So you have that option. So it's really reading intensive. I don't... I don't think I have any good tips for this other than do go problems. I mean, that's literally what this is improve your reading with go problems. Yeah, pick simpler invasions. Like, you can see this one is not one of the normal ones. The normal would just be cap and run away, 1-point jumps and diagonals, run away. That's simple shapes. If you make it simple, the reading is simple. But as soon as you get running deeper, you get into dawn level, where you have to read, okay, are you going to live? Are you going to sabaki this? What are you going to do? The reading becomes a lot. So what I want you to start with is I want you to start with the simple. Simple first. Run. 1-point jumps, diagonals, connected shapes. Check those first. Once you can read those comfortably, add on the attachments and forcing moves. Excuse me. You can add on
Shoulder hits.
Yeah, shoulder hits too. You can add on sabaki, like 2-space jumps. You can add on sabaki. And I'm just gonna say, like, don't try to do all of this at once. Learn, like, one tactic at a time. So, for example, don't learn sabaki while you're trying to learn attachments. Don't learn attachments while you're trying to learn 1-point jumps. Okay? You're gonna overwhelm yourself very quickly. So, I would say, if you want, you can make a list of how many different ideas can you apply to invasions. 1-point jumps, diagonals, 2-point jumps, to sabaki ideas. So a horse's face instead of a dog's face. Two space instead of 1 space. To get a little bit of speed. Attachments, peeps, tiger's mouths, and above all the other shapes, cutting points, try to master those one at a time. Invasions are not easy. It's probably one of the hardest things in Go because it's so reading intensive. If you are being invaded, just worry about surrounding and Sente. Your opponents, if they invade too deep, especially at the Q level, likely don't have the reading to back up that strategy. And sometimes, not every time, because, you know, sometimes the shape just works out the way it does. But sometimes your opponents will give you game-winning opportunities with those too risky invasions. That's why we call that unreliable. Because some games, their invasions, Radnor, work really well. In some games, the reading is, and then in other games, the reading is just too much and they just die. So it's very random. So if you're those type of players, Radnor, you improve your reading to the point where you can handle both of those scenarios, so the strategy is reliable. So invasions aren't bad. Like, there's many ways to invade. Okay, there's many ways to invade. Clearly, we saw that today, and I think it's a good idea to like just show you like the amount of options that can happen. So there's many invasions available, but picking one you don't have the ability to read is high risk, high reward, and it creates an unreliable game. So some games it'll work, some games it won't. And just like if your opponent's using it against you, it might work against you, it might not. That doesn't necessarily mean... Is it playing? What? It doesn't necessarily mean you did anything wrong. They could have done something that's just above their level, and you didn't have the reading to punish it. Maybe they read really well for themselves. Like, I had a middle game where I had 100% on the AI. Sometimes you just have a really, really good read. But if you want to apply it yourself, you want a reliable strategy. So when you're doing invasions, start learning the simple ones first. Approach a fourth line, 3/3 invasions. At single digit Q, look at it. Start considering the attachments, which the attachments are like this. Okay, and most of the responses are Nobi or Hane, and the responses to this is crosscut, reverse Hane, reverse Hane. Okay, there's a lot of branches, but you can practice it and learn it. And then from there, you can learn, and then you also have this attachment. From there, you can add on forcing moves with the combination of the attachments. And from there, you can add on Sabaki to make it Miai, say, I'm going to either get a giant Moyo and give you the territory, or I'm going to live in this territory. You can have a Miai strategy, and then Sabaki's really good about that. Yeah, Sabaki's really good about that. I don't really have a good example on this board, but Sabaki's really good about making those Miai. And the more... It's kind of like Joseki's. The more tools that you have access to, the more clever you can be, and the stronger you'll be. But if you try to handle all the tools at once, if you try to handle all the sequences at once, you're going to get overwhelmed, and then it's going to be really, really risky, and you can die. I will say that if you're trying to read out every response to the invasion moves, you're pretty much you're trying to play like a 5-don, going on 7-don. Okay, that's what I have to do. So getting from like 5-don to 7-don is saying, if I go here, and my opponent caps, what's all the options? If he goes here, what's all the options? So I have to like read probably like 30 to 50 moves, and assuming I'm in a tournament, I compare like 20 to 30 moves versus 20 to 30 moves. So this is how you get well above 100 moves in your reading. So imagine this one and 1, 2, I don't know, probably 1, 2 is the simple ones. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, this one. And then you can spend so much time. You want to know what 7 Dons are doing when they're sitting there for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes looking at one move. That's what they're doing, is they're comparing all of those options. So you can spend a lot of time reading it out. That's like 5 Don plus, okay? Maybe on OGS, like 3 Don plus, okay? It's really, really hard. But what you can do at the Q level is just eliminate some of the options and narrow it down to the ones you know. And if your opponent happens to find a variation that's above this level, it doesn't mean your move is wrong for your level. It just means your opponent played really well. But I guarantee you, if your opponent's always playing above their level, they're going to leave openings. So, for example, if your opponent is playing right here, and you think, okay, this is really high risk for them, but if I stay solid and strong and surround, Clossi Approach it and just Hane, there's a good chance that they will leave an opening for you. Like, for example, in the game, Black tried to do something really strong and left a cutting point right here that White capitalized on. That's pretty dangerous. And then connected and Nobi, like, this is really dangerous for Black. So when your opponent does it, it doesn't mean that their move's bad. But it does mean you need to watch out for any sort of opening. And if you're going to find an opening in their shape, one, you have to be solid enough that you can punish it. So that way, if the opening presents itself, you're not going to die trying to do it. And two, look for the cutting points. The cutting points are everything at this level, like in the middle game. You want to know how to kill your opponent? Watch their cutting points. But also watch yours, because that's like how you die. You gotta watch yours too. Watch the cutting points. That's the secret to getting those amazing attack and defense wins. Aside from the cutting points, technically they're supposed to live. You're not supposed to be able to kill everything. Their moves are supposed to gain value. You're getting to the stronger you get at the Q level, even going on down level, the more you need to realize that you can't punish everything. Honestly, all of their moves are supposed to work and gain value. It's just, instead of it becoming I'm going to play solid and then look for the opening in your position, it becomes, we're both going to play solid, and whoever's more clever with their strategies. Okay, so for example, if let's say all of you are 1 Don and your opponents are 1 Don, everyone knows how to read and invade, then whoever has access to more invasion tools or tactics is going to be the one that can be more clever and maybe come out ahead. Does that kind of make sense to everyone?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so there's a lot. So
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
There's one thing I think is worth noting too. With 2 of the 3 examples, we talked about whether or not it was even necessary to kill or necessary to invade. And in one case, we came to yes, you do. In one case, we came to no, you don't.
I'm sorry about being
Yes.
late, people. Too. I thought I was early even, but time got away from me.
You need to develop hooked on phonics for reading Go.